And sometimes what happens is,
Okay. Yeah. You go to start anything.
so that's the next one, but we also need to pull up. The one that I found, the ours is in the other, so pull that one up as well. And that way we can work. on both of them.
We're recording. I don't know if we're live.
I'll just, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the policy committee meeting. And today's date is February 25th, 2025. And we are opening up this policy committee meeting at 5:31.
Staying on.
You know, I should say it's really live. You want to look to see if anyone, maybe second screen. If anyone's there and participants.
Yeah, I think that's just us though.
So if you put up that way.
Oh, so it says recording at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, two. All right.
If you just.
It says two.
Yeah, but I just want to see if the person stays, it doesn't stay, that way we know. So where's cross case, all right, where's ours? It's just that. It's just us right now. isn't it?
Yeah, just.
Well, it's just losing. It's administrative. All right, so, welcome everyone. I know when we last met, some of the things that we're gonna look at, and please correct me, was the use of facilities. Was one. The wellness party was a wellness, policy, as well as the, extracurricular and corporate. So let's, my recommendation is that if we stay with just one policy at a time, and then we can move forward. So let's start with, the product use of facility.
You know what I was gonna say? I was gonna make a recommendation, the wellness policy. I don't know if there's anything correct, because trustee Maston said it. I
So,
put
well,
it in there what she wanted already. I think it's just a
So-
option.
So let's just stay with the 1,500 first, which is public use of, school facilities. And then when we get to that one, then we could, if there's nothing that we need to change, it's nothing that we need to change. So what we're gonna do. Let's put county goals first.
I
So everyone should have the current current public use of facilities, and it has Amityville on the top, so everyone should have this.
yeah, I wanted to let you know, I didn't know, and I didn't see anybody else like make edits, whatever, so I just made a couple of copies and I wrote in purple, because I know it was confusing last time, so if you
Right,
guys
so
want to share.
just hold on to it, you make copies for everyone,
Well, there's 3 copies here, but so you could see what my edits were.
but did you make copies to share with everyone?
I have, you
So
guys
what-
could share one, you guys could share one.
So
over there.
what I'm saying is that, like, I have some suggestions as well, but I think that, we'll leave it here, and that way what we can do is, I have some notes. What we can do, we can put it up on the screen, right, so we can take this here, we can put it up on the screen, we'll go from there. And we also got the NISBA policy as well, in terms of use of facilities. So, let me just get some of my extra stuff out of here. Hold on a second.
I thought we were doing that eligibility. Which one are we doing first?
We're doing 1,500 in public use of facilities. I'm gonna do that one first. And everyone should have the copies of the NISBA one as well. And looking at the NISBA one, and looking at the, also, do we have copies of this one? Yeah, I think everyone should have a copy of the NISBA one.
Yes, they do, everybody.
Maybe look at that in that packet there. Probably what everyone's all in the same.
Everybody has a, the only thing is, we didn't get this till 4:10. I didn't get a whole lot of time to review this one.
Right, so let's. We all got at the same time, so let's just take a look, we're gonna go forward. And, for the public use of facility, there's not much. I have another one that I have. I got 2 things I can see. A couple things, and it may be, a couple things that I had, just a couple suggestions was that. Maybe as we move forward, and maybe it's already there and I didn't see it on the website, is that maybe it's. Maybe provide on there the actual like application to do the use of facilities in line is there. So.
So,
if it's
well,
there, So,
before we move on to that,
but I'm going to the policy, go ahead.
no, well, this is for the application. There's at least one program that, that I've seen a bunch of the schools use. Where it's, everything is online, ML
Yeah.
schedule,
Mhm.
and it seems like eliminate all the paper, we're not printing up. Everything is just loaded with. Organizations have a profile, whenever they need to apply, they just apply, they don't have to. Reissue the insurance and a
Well,
lot of other stuff in there.
the only
Yeah,
thing with
well,
that
also
is it
it
might be a
does tell us-
consultant, then we might have to hire them. Is that something that we have that third party that they could create a fillable document?
All right, so Dr. Talbot.
So we've been in the process of reviewing various software for that purpose. One of them is QWare, one of them is School Source. As a team, we've all been on the tutorial, the demonstrations with the companies. And so, matter of fact, just today, Building and Grounds put a pause on QWare because Helix has released a facilities use form, which is also a part of our work order instrumentation. So we will be looking at Helix in the coming days as well. So we're in the process of that. And the one that you're referring to, what's the name of that one?
ML schedule,
Okay,
Dr. Talbot, is that something that Land Rover can do, just make a fillable document, like, you know, we could do a PDF that's fillable? So maybe it's not something that we would have to use the software for, but somebody could just do it fillable and send it in. I mean, I'm just saying as an option.
I'm sure they probably could. We're trying to get a workflow
Mhm.
where not just school facilities, but even with extracurricular advisors, submitting those documents, it goes through a workflow and arrives at its destination. Facilities use, we start here, it ends up in a workflow where we are more timely and operational. And as you said, they don't have to continue to add information, but it's already in, you know, it'll be in storage,
Yeah.
possible, sure.
it. Seems like this would also work for like extracurriculars, like if they had a thing where you notified if. The IT department if they needed a projector or something like that.
Yes, yes, so, back to trustee Canestro's question, I'm sure they probably could. We were just trying to avoid standalones and trying to get a comprehensive system. So that each department, particularly HR, right? Has a lot of forms and we're trying to ensure that we're digitized. But if we ever have another 2020, which we hope not, that we would be set up and ready to still function in spite of not being here if we have to be remote.
Copeg, Babylon, and Mesh people use that.
ML?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I don't know how this works, is, they swear, what is it called, something?
Aaron?
That's great, do they have that capability, if we're using them for one thing, they don't do this, okay, would have been nice to have one.
Yeah, sure would have.
All right, so, this is just my recommendation for the, for policy 1500. We have the NISBA policy up there. We have our old policy, here in front of us. So how about if we just look to see what is the differences between the old and the new policy? I know when I was looking at the old policy, there really wasn't anything that, kind of jumped out of me. I know that there was a discussion years ago about, possibly charging a fee. And, you know, looking at different school districts, some charge a fee, some don't charge a fee. I'm not too sure that's something that we want to look at, but so let's put this up here. So this is the NISBA one up here. And just kind of quickly look to see if there's anything different.
I just had a couple of suggestions, not a lot.
All right, so let's just see, and as we go through that, so. I'm kind of quickly looking through it as well. And then under permitted uses, and we'll do it maybe section by section,
Okay, I
and
mean,
when you get there, if there's something that someone has in there. I mean, the only thing I see on page 2 for the middle cost, just kind of scroll down, like. At letter C, if we can see, it says social, civic. And including but not limited to meetings of parents association. And recreational. Meetings and entertainment, so all they did, we took out the including but not limited meeting of parents associations, and so. We don't have to put it back in, I don't see anything else significant in there.
well, I wanted to make a suggestion where it says district facilities may be used, it's on the first page, you can look at either one. Under permitted uses, it says district facilities may be used for the purposes listed below, subject to the conditions and restrictions set forth in this policy. I think my recommendation is say for entities located within the school district. Right, because you don't want to overutilize the other places, I re-
So my question is, how often do we provide these facilities for outside people in the district?
I don't know, but why not put it in there to protect ourselves? We don't want it overutilized. I just ran into a trustee from a different district. I had an issue with an outside like dance company and it became a really big problem for them. And this is something that they brought up to me that you might want to put it in there because it became an issue. So if we're trying to be proactive. And it wasn't within the district and it became a big overuse of the facilities, a big thing in their community, so.
So my question is, it goes back to, how often do we have someone that's not in the district?
We've had few instances like that where they were not really, they were from Garden State. And they wanted to use our facilities. We've had
That's
that,
your old district, I mean,
yeah,
Uh-huh.
no, Garden City, not my old district.
Garden City?
Yes,
Is that
Garden,
Amityville?
School- yes, they were from Garden City and they wanted to use our facilities. So we have to define what we mean by from this district.
Within,
What do you-
within the Amityville School District.
What do you mean
boundaries,
by within the Amityville School District?
The
What
boundaries.
about if they have satellites all over the place?
I mean, like if the organizational participants. are from
Correct.
the school
No,
district?
they have, say,
Multiple locations.
multiple locations. It's possible that they did not originate from here, but they have satellites all over the place, right? They have,
Well, you could say that about Little League, you could say that about soccer, but then they have Girl Scouts, but they have the chapters here. So their chapters are using our
That's
facilities.
the kind of thing that
So
I'm
the
looking
chapter,
for.
I think.
The chapter should be
The chapters
here,
should be within the Amityville School District boundaries.
correct,
So-
something.
Let me just, I don't wanna belabor because we'll be here forever and ever. So my question for clarification is this, is that, is there someone who is from an outside of a district, but the kids live within our school district and they wanna utilize the facility? Is that, does that,
No.
so it's just basically someone from the outside, the kids are not really here, not really part of that organization, and they wanna use our facilities.
That does happen. I've seen it happen.
We have a lot of time outside.
Right.
Yeah,
What is-
just say entities within, that are located within the, how about entities and or chapters? Of an
They have to
entity
have an address here.
that are within the Amityville School District boundaries. I think that's fair and that protects us.
Of a physical address.
Physical address.
So the
No
requester
PO
would
No
have to
PO
have an
box.
address here. Is that what you're saying?
So
Even
let,
if it's our kids and they don't,
Well, I think that
What
goes
about
down
the-
later on, because it talks, like, I was gonna also talk about the roster. You know, like our roster should have a certain amount of Amityville students.
That we already have.
Seven-
That's,
those
yeah,
areas are
yeah, we have,
75%.
I don't know if it says it in here, the 75, I didn't see that, I think I really didn't get it.
so before we get to that.
Right,
part,
that's why I'm saying
So-
start here.
Let's look at this, like last night, for example, there was a, facilities was used by the town of Allen for a program. Right, so. Town of Allen, the entity does cover Danville School District. So they should be allowed to use the facility. That's my question, are we saying that they can't use the facility?
I mean, I'm saying I think that it should come to those within the Amityville school district boundaries. I think that that's fair.
I think to me, well, town of Belleville does encompass, using that as an example, they do encompass the Amityville School District. They encompass Amityville, Lindenhurst, Opaque, Wyandanch, they encompass Amityville School District. So, for example, they would be able to use the facilities. Because it encompasses our district. I just kind of feel like I don't have a problem putting it there. I think that this is just me, I'm not in support of it, because I kind of feel as if we're looking for someone from the outside of our district, this is just my thought process, for utilizing our facility, right? We can say that if someone is not within our school district, that there's a decision has to be made whether or not they can use the facility, because let's say, for example, let's just like, let's say there's a soccer team, right, hypothetically. They're not in our district, they're, let's say, I'll just say Garden City, like I said, and they wanna come utilize our fields. That would be, will we deny them that request because our percentage of our kids are not on that soccer team?
I think,
That's my.
I think my point is this, like with policies, I think policies are created out of need, right? And policies should be clear and concise, and there shouldn't be any guess, and it takes it out of Dr. Talbot having to be the bad guy, the Board of Ed having to be the bad guy, whatever, like, these are our parameters on what we do. Read our facilities use, you have to have the entity or the chapter has to be here. 75% should be in here of Amityville kids. We're looking to protect the district and the facilities because it's really owned by the community.
But also in the same token, we also have that ability to deny requests to use of facilities.
But then why are we updating the policy if we're not gonna update it to be clearer?
Well, what would our
But-
reason be to
To-
deny something
someone-
like Lisa just pointed out, the town of Avalon using it yesterday?
I'm just saying, I think the facility should be used for those within the Amityville School District.
And so then that's why I have a problem, because I feel like, using that as an example, they encompass the Annabelle School District, so I'm not in support of adding that into the policy, we can put it in and give it up to the board to make a decision. But I feel as if someone is covering our district, they should be able to use our facility. And that's
I
just,
mean, my experience is if an elected official wants to come and they speak to children, or sometimes say they'll come to an event, or they speak at a graduation. The elected official comes there. I've never been in my position, in my experience, where they held an event at the actual school. They're in support of the event. They come to speak to the event, or they come and hand out the certificates along with the administration to do it, but they're not holding their events here.
Well, they did.
they did, and
Well,
they've held it at Copay, and they've held it at Amityville, so they've been doing it for years, in order to get the community to come into the two different schools, right, to see what the different programs, so I'm not in support of putting that in, because I don't feel that it has been an issue. You can tell me, Olivia, I don't feel it's been an issue where we had a huge volume of people from outside of our district coming in to utilize our facilities. And if it,
Well, you see these in front of you. Do you think it's useful to put in there or not?
At the discretion of the board.
yeah, I think it does say here something like that, and if I recall correctly, that every time in terms of use of facilities,
I do
it
think
is
it's
at the discretion of the board.
Right,
Okay.
that it can be
So-
revoked at any time.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
true.
So I'm not in support of putting it in there.
Chris,
Me neither.
anybody
I
else?
think we have enough in here
Yeah,
to not,
to not
allow.
not allow it.
Anybody else?
No, I know they've been doing it here for years, Town of Babylon had this, they said this was the 37th year hosting it. And I know they've been here at least 10 years,
Probably at least 10.
maybe. I know they've been here at least 10 years.
Okay, so we'll move on.
Right, so let's keep going down,
I had something for D.
You know, that provision,
so.
maybe we should look at the issues.
Oh, I had
Are we
something for
there
that
yet?
too.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Okay,
Let's
good.
I had something for that.
just
Olivia.
let's just kind of stay in sync, because we'll never get out of here. So, permitted use of permitted uses, is there any other thing in that section that we wanna look at or revise?
Well, are you looking to go off of our policy or off of NISBA policy? So just want
I'm looking to do both, because
Okay.
we got a sample from NISBA, all I'm just saying, let's take a look at NISBA, see if there's anything in there that we wanna modify, anything that we wanna change, so we do it section by section, we can go through quickly and get this done.
We're still under permitted
Under
uses.
permitted uses, and I don't, the only thing I see different is
I think C
letter
is fine.
J.
Wait, I have something for C and D. C, I think it's okay, I'm okay with the language from NISBA.
It's the same thing as what we have.
No, but we don't have included but not limited to meetings of parent associations and parent teacher associations, I think we should put that in there. Why wouldn't we? If that's what they're suggesting. Say. I don't think there's any harm. And then for D,
So.
it says meetings, entertainments, and occasions where admission fees are charged. I wanted to put in there to also include the cost will be shared and explained to them. Like if there is a fee, wait. Hold on a second.
Which
Am I
letter?
reading this right?
D,
Meeting, entertainment, occasion where admission fees are
Page two,
charged.
showing us the policy.
Spend for education, quick write-up,
But that's the organization, that's.
Well, the organization should explain what the fees are. Like, what are they charging fees for, right?
On the application, I think it does say,
But can we just add it to the policy too, just that wording?
where admission fees are charged when the proceeds are to be spent for an educational or charitable purpose. Otherwise,
To
they
explain
can't,
what the purpose is?
yeah, they do now.
I know it's on the
Yeah.
form, but can we include it in the
Oh,
policy?
in the policy.
Yeah, just so that it matches the form.
Yeah, how do you wanna say that? It's just where admission fees are charged.
And proceeds to be sent for educational charitable purposes.
Explanation required on the form. Explanation.
Yeah, so we could just write that explanation required on the form. I mean, that's fine.
We'll just add that here. If you do it here, just for explanation requirements. And you highlight, and that way it's already done.
And then for H. This is where I had added in insurance requirements, fingerprinting, et cetera, on H.
Fingerprinting for use of facilities.
No, this is just saying childcare programs when school is not in session or when school is in session for the children of students attending schools in the district. And if there is additional space available for children of employees in the district, we should be requiring insurance, right? Additional insurance, what are our insurance requirements? And then Dr. Talbot or one of the administrators can explain, it's like those programs, right? Those people are gonna be fingerprinted too, right? If they're in charge of our children, like, how does that work?
For
Well,
any
I don't
child
think
care
that-
program.
That doesn't sound like that would fall under the use of facilities. That sounds like that would be under a separate policy.
Well, what would this be under? Because if we're saying we're gonna allow childcare programs when school is not in session. Or when school is in session, that means that they're in our schools and it says with students attending the schools. I think that that's a liability.
So we, in the past, just to give you history, in the past, we've had after-school programs that were conducted within the school and they were through grants. Right, so people were hired through the grants to conduct the after-school program. So if they, when they were hired through the grants to do the after-school program, then they went through the process of being fingerprinted and doing the background check. So the people that were doing it, sometimes there were people that were actually employees of the district who actually worked in the after-school program. So it wasn't like an outside entity coming in to utilize our facility. It was actually connected with a grant that we have.
But that doesn't say
we
that
see.
yet. That doesn't define.
So
that.
then we put, they must follow the district employment practices or the volunteer practices.
How would Bridget, yeah,
It's not employment. They would be filling out some kind of contract,
Yeah, this is,
so that would be like a whole contracted
That's,
entity. Like
yeah,
if we had something like
scope, right, that's what I'm
That's what I'm
thinking,
thinking
yeah,
of too, but
yeah.
they,
that would be
that
embedded
would
in
be
the
embedded.
agreement.
That's a whole
Um,
contract separate.
Like I'm also thinking of an example that I denied the request. We had a club who wanted to provide childcare for students. Parents could drop them off and for so many hours and this club would watch.
Mhm.
And I said no, because that's a huge liability,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that was an attempted childcare program, right?
Is there a way just to put in any language to protect us? Like, I know it's at your discretion, but I'm thinking if we're going over the policy, like, maybe just make sure that it's clear in there.
Okay.
I think it's something that we would have to really, and I hear what you're saying, Wendy, I think it's something that it's gonna take a little bit more time to look at the language that we want to utilize, because to Chris's point, I don't believe we need to put here that people need to be fingerprinted, background checks in order to do in order to run a child care, but there has to be something else within one of our policies, if someone's gonna come into our district to utilize our facilities, if we're gonna come in with a program, there's guidelines that we have to be able to, that we're gonna provide
Well,
for them. So
I would
my
say-
thing is,
I would say rather than dismiss it, why don't we just put a note there and run it by John
Legal.
Gercio to say, is there some sort of language to protect us?
but I think we also need to say, maybe refer to policy so-and-so, you know, what I mean, if an outside entity wants to utilize our facilities, if outside entities coming in to provide something. So I think you can put a note next to it, Lynn, and just say, just double check the legal on it, but,
Check into the, NISBA has anything.
no, they don't have,
They don't even say anything.
no. Letter I, yeah, just double check the legal
It
about
had any other requirements.
any other requirements in regards to fingerprinting.
No, I don't want to put I in there. I don't want to put the I in there.
It's interesting because for our ICES, graduation and exercise is held, but not for profit elementary and secondary schools provided that no religious services is performed.
We just didn't put I in.
Yeah, which I agree with. I don't think we should put I in there.
So
Oh,
NISBA's I says licensed school-based health, dental, or mental health clinics as defined in education law operated by entity other than the school district.
Yeah, and it says there's a note above it saying you don't have to do.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, yeah.
Well, let's think about this for a moment. So remember when COVID took place, right? There were pop-up medical facilities who were asking to come to school districts to do vaccines or any other medical care. And so this says licensed school-based health, dental, or mental health clinics. Okay. That's defined.
These are school-based though.
Yeah.
These are, I'm looking at it,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't.
looking at, I
If
know
it is
that,
intended.
you know,
Okay.
I'm looking at some schools in New York have school-based
Health
clinics, health
yeah.
clinics, mental, within their school. Like there's an area in their school that's designated for an outside entity to come in
Yes.
to provide health services and mental health services. So I look at this connected to that.
Yeah,
So I agree, I'm not into.
Yeah, I don't want
so remove.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that from the NISBA.
So that
policy.
stays there, that I stays there. She's talking about that I.
Yeah.
Like,
So delete
we're not gonna use I on the NISBA.
Right.
And then K,
Well,
Go ahead.
not that I'm looking to add any of those programs in there, but, you know, as we have been going back and forth on what's happening with Northeast and Northwest and the extension, like, do we leave it in there just so it's is it open for us?
I don't think people should be coming to school to get like health things or dental.
Well,
He's on K now, right?
No, I went back to,
Oh, you went back to I.
Went back to I.
Okay.
And I respect your, you know, your thought process, you know, on it, Wendy, and I right now I agree that we should not have it in. I do agree we should not have it in, but I do know other circumstances in other part of the states where they actually have it within their school building because
Mhm.
there's a need.
Mhm.
There's a need for them to have it, and it's well defined and everything like that. So if we ever get to the point that this is something that we want
We
to
can
do
always add it,
in the school,
revise.
we can add it everything. So letter K for NISBA has class of instruction for intellectually disabled minds operated by private organization approved by the Commission of Education.
I don't think we need that, Dr. Tyler, right, because you said, oh, we have the special education here, we need that here?
Yeah, well, that was
Well,
just- it's a-
Well, it
That's
says
what I
don't
thought
have
you were
to.
alluding to, so if
Well,
we're
I'd say that
potentially,
too.
yeah. If we're potentially looking at Northwest and the portables possibly being
Do
used,
you wanna put it? Okay,
maybe we should leave it.
sure.
Right, so go to the NISBA policy. And then go down to letter K and copy and fill it. And it will be letter J and out. That would just, it just makes you a lot easier.
Oh, we have to put in this paragraph onto here, we don't have this paragraph. That says additionally, we will allow the military recruiters to come in, you see that after K?
Yes,
I think we should put that in.
yeah,
By the way, do we have that, do we have like RTC and one?
yes, they do.
Awesome.
See you tomorrow.
To go back to the number one. We'll make this a regular, please, number one. Copy that whole paragraph and put it into docs. And highlight it again. Prohibited uses.
Should we just use B? I think it's similar, I don't know if it's exactly the same. Is it exactly the same? I think it's slightly different. Should we just adopt that B one from this one?
Wrong.
It said,
Prohibited
it
uses.
says, other than veteran organizations or volunteer firefighters, so that's the last line that,
But even.
oh, it is still there, it's on.
No, but even the beginning's different, because there it says meetings, entertainment, occasions, where admission fees are charged that are under the exclusive control and the proceeds are to be applied to the benefit of blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's what I was.
That's what we have too as well.
We don't have the admission fee language.
Meetings, entertainment, and
Oh, yeah.
occasions where admission fees are charged.
So just replace,
We just need to
Just
add
swap the date, yeah.
where admission, yeah, because everything else is the same.
Yeah,
That's out, let's go back to this. one. We were to just copy and paste the whole thing and just put it on. So the only thing we're adding is whereas, but it just makes it a lot easier. So conditions of use for district facilities. Yes. You copy around time.
it's A and B are exactly the same.
That's our original one. Okay, where's the one that we just?
So B covers what you were talking.
Yes. But on C, I had notes here, I wanted to, where it talks about the fee,
Yeah, just copy the whole thing.
I think that we should put it if needed and agreed upon, or if necessary and agreed upon. And. Right, because we're not gonna automatically charge everybody, by the way, what if somebody donated millions of dollars to us or something, you know, there might not be a need, or, you know what I mean, we might be able to do this, or. So I think there should just be some language in there to make it. We may charge them, like we have a right to charge them, we may charge them, but it's if needed and agreed upon. By the board, right?
Is there Other schools will do it based on the type of the organization. Based on the time and location that they're requesting, and some even have wording in there. Based on if the district's under a contingency budget.
A contingency budget, you have to charge them.
and here it does give the board the right, it says the district retains the further right to waive user fees for groups that are associated with or sponsored by the district.
Oh, so the last sentence addresses it. I also was interested in like, I think like not-for-profits shouldn't be charged. I don't know how anybody else feels about that, putting that in there, or,
I think we should have had a regulation just for the
Yeah.
fee schedule
Yeah.
and for layout,
Mhm,
the organizations and
mhm.
when, because then when I was mentioning the time. That as long as like now during
like
the
if it's a
week,
Sunday.
the organizations need to be out by 10 o'clock because that's when security and custodians are done for the day. So if they were going beyond that, then it would cost the district more money and because there'd be incremental overtime, which is. What's happening with the weekends because nobody's working there, so they have to call somebody in. Specifically for the organization to use the building.
Okay, so let's, I don't think that's gonna be in here though, so we'll have.
No, that's what I'm saying, it should be
A fee schedule.
fee schedule and then, yeah.
And that, maybe that was part of like and I saw that on some other policy in other districts, they actually had a fee schedule. And what constituted,
Yeah.
getting charged, and I'm not. If it's Monday through Friday and people are here, then I don't think we need to charge, but if it's on the weekend, no one's here and they have to come.
But if
open
it's
up-
Saturday, the building's open for varsity sports.
Not always.
Not always, not always. Not always, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So I think it all depends on the dates and times. that
It's
people-
varsity sports each season. But they
There's-
should-
doesn't mean
It
that-
doesn't mean that there's not, just because basketball happens during the winter, doesn't mean that there's a basketball game every
It
Saturday.
doesn't mean it's a game, it could be practice.
But it doesn't mean, I think.
But the point is that there's not always somebody here on a
Right,
Saturday,
right.
so it's not regularly scheduled. For those events, because they're not always happening.
I think we're just having a fee schedule. That says if the school is not open on that particular day. and
You may be
and
charged.
Request
I
for
think
use
the-
of facilities. That
If-
that you will be charged, because if we have to bring someone in, you know what I mean, to open up the school, to use the facilities, to bring security in and whatnot. Then we need to look at that, so let's come back to that.
Yeah,
If
yeah, we're not
the
up
use
to that.
requires additional cost to the district.
But it's gonna always require additional costs, whether someone's here or not. You know, you're gonna always have wear and tear of your property, you're gonna always have your HVAC system in use. I just think we need to look at it comprehensively, and if it's not a charge we wanna charge for, don't put it on the schedule, but I think we need to look at it holistically.
I think I agree that we should look at a fee schedule. I am more inclined to say we may charge because the taxpayers pay for these buildings. You know, we shouldn't be charging them all the time. They already pay taxes. To then to do a fee, it's another tax on them. So I think if we have a fee schedule, just by saying you may be charged these fees.
And I think
And then the board can decide, whatever the board is, whether it's this board in 10 years, they can decide if they're gonna charge them.
I think we just, it's probably like a regulation that needs to be established for
They didn't,
the
they,
fees.
I don't think they gave it.
No, they didn't, but I said the other districts I saw where there was use of facility fees, and I think that when we get to that point and we go to review it, then that's when we can make
Okay,
that
sure.
particular decision. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
of that.
Okay,
So let's keep going along, so therefore we can make it to our other policy, that's when they'll get out of here. I think that, did everyone look through, I have one,
I had under E, I had some notes here.
so you should do.
Yeah, I think that we should be requiring the district be named as an additional insured. I know that we have some facility use coming up on Wednesday, and they all were named additional insured, I looked at it, but that's something that should happen.
We require that now.
We require that now.
Yeah, but why not just add it in the policy? It's because it says we're asking for, you know, 1 million, it's usually like a $2 million policy. But we should have it listed here to be clear, and the district needs to be named as an additional insured. I think that's an easy one.
Can you just explain to me why? I'm trying to understand, that's all.
Because if something happens, we're named as an additional insured, so we would be able to go to them to recover. The damages from them. That allows us to do that,
Yeah, it's required on the form,
right? So let's
so I
just
don't think
add
it's
it
in here.
in the policy, protects the district. So I would just say, evidence of adequate insurance coverage
What letter?
We're under
But
A.
E.
It just protects the district, guys. If there is a claim, you don't wanna be left holding the bag. You wanna be able to go after their insurance first.
And I'm
Exhaust their insurance first.
I'm not arguing, I'm not disagreeing, but I'm just trying to make a decision. If it's on the form already,
But why not
But
just be
if it's,
clear?
if it's not in the policy, there's nothing stopping them from changing it on the form. Cause you could have somebody going through the form 2 years from now and just like, yeah, let's just take that off. But if it's in the policy, then they're
It
required to
just
have it on the
protects the
form.
district. I just think it's an easy thing to do.
And if our insurance expert is suggesting it,
I would just say that evidence of adequate insurance, $1 million, and the district to be named as an additional insured to save the district harmless from all liability. So after the 1 million minimum,
let's go to.
I would
Just
say-
put it as a recommendation, and we send out the legal, they'll also
Yeah.
get the feedback.
Mhm.
So just say that again slowly for Lynn.
okay, so I would say provides the district timely evidence of adequate insurance coverage, 1 million minimum. And for the district
Hold on, and for the district,
to be included as an additional insured.
hold on.
For the district to be named.
To be named as an additional
Different should
insured.
be, is, take out including, put, they're gonna put in name.
Named as an additional insured, and then it can continue what's there to save.
So just, if you just highlight what you just put in. You just put the T next to the two.
Okay.
I got something before we move on to F.
Okay, go ahead.
You ready?
Right.
Which letter are you at?
I'm at a new letter before F, I feel like it belongs before there, External defibrillators, are they required, I know. Youth sports are required to have them, but are they required to bring their own, or are we required to supply for them?
I think the law is we have them in the building, and I think John spoke about this, that we have to allow them to use the ones in the
And
building.
I called Megan earlier to see if, because I didn't see it when I quickly looked at the safety plan, and she was at their meeting and spoke to Al about it, and we. Like, getting there, I was like, all right, I gotta put signs, like giving directions and maps to where
Yeah.
everything is, because I know that's part of the law or the.
Yeah, John spoke about that. If they're in the facility, they have to have access to our AEDs. Now, if they're on the field, I mean, they should have an AED.
They're supposed to be a minute walking distance from the.
Like, I think Rob has to bring it, Liz Lee has to bring it, and let's see.
But because the key is this, if someone is utilizing the field, usually please correct me, someone utilizing the field, let's say for soccer or for baseball. The building is not open, they're just utilizing the field, that's
Right,
it. So
right.
they're not utilizing, the bill is not open to utilize the bathroom or anything like that, they're just utilizing the fields.
That's
I
what
think
it's
that's a good idea.
supposed to be, but sometimes, the custodian is in the building. So they are able to get
And
access.
sometimes they're not, and we discussed this at a prior
Yeah.
policy meeting, and I think we added it into another policy. Was it the volunteer coach policy? Because.
I think
we
that was
brought
just
it
for
up.
training,
But I think the
I don't think
AED,
that was to have about having the actual AED.
So are we saying organizations who utilize our fields
for field
Must
use
bring it.
only,
must bring their.
must have an AED on site.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we add that? What do you wanna do?
Because like it is a requirement for youth sports, but
Can
we need to just spell it out for them.
So make that an
Can
F.
we make that G and leave F alone?
No, because I think F should be at the very end, because then it like wraps everything up. I kind of agree, that's just my opinion, I think F should be the AED, and then G should be the last one. That the board reserves the discretion,
All right, so make that F, go ahead.
so, organizations utilizing our fields are required to have an AED on site.
New York State
Me
Department
too.
of Health,
An AED.
I'll just read the beginning of the New York Department of Health policy.
And
To
just-
see if it makes sense to go, any of it makes sense to go in there. Each youth sports league is responsible for ensuring that at least one AED is available during all games and practices. If the league does not own an AED, it must outline how reasonable access to an AED will be provided. Additionally, each league must have at least one staff member trained in AED operation and usage and maintain a written AED implementation plan.
Why can't we just take that whole paragraph?
How about we,
That's a good paragraph.
is what,
That's New York State Department of Health.
You want him to like copy it and send it to Lynn?
Yeah, I can send it, just. see it as I do.
Make
Alright.
that happen.
Oh, okay, there's
yeah,
a,
we'll put, yeah.
this is the next paragraph. If the league relies on an AED provided by a facility such as a school or park, it is essential to confirm access with the facility, understand any special procedures or AED use, and receive notification if the AED becomes unavailable.
Yeah, so if they had field use only, they wouldn't necessarily have access to our indoor, so they have to
Right.
have it, so that.
So
first paragraph should go
just send what you, the top, the first paragraph to Lynn and then we can, she can cut and paste, put it in and we.
And I'll add that to that.
Yes,
So you'll make that as, and then you'll make the last one G.
correct, yes.
Yes, sir, do. Thank
Alright, so anything else, the board reserves their discretion to not use district facilities described above to terminate use of facility based on funding.
I had something, I guess, wait, let's go through this. They have number 7, which we don't have, for any use prohibited by the law, we should add that, number 7. Can you see that on the next page?
Go to the, yes,
Connected to number 6.
Oh, they added it to number 6, okay, you don't need to add, okay, it's part of number 6. Oh. Well, wait, should we make that number 7 though, because that looks like it's added just to the alcohol units. Well, you see how this is here? There should be a standalone here,
Oh,
I think it should be,
standalone.
no, it should be part of number 6, I think in our policy it got separated out.
No,
No,
this,
and
no,
this
this,
one
but
is
it's
separate.
separated.
There's no second.
We,
Yeah,
they
but
want it
I
as a
don't-
standalone, because then it looks like it only applies to that, it's alcohol and everything. A standalone is for any use prohibited by law for anything, so I think maybe make that the standalone.
So when we say for any use prohibited by law. Just curiosity, like what?
I don't know, it's a blanket statement. So that way we're covered.
Alright, we'll move along.
Sometimes
I mean, you
just don't
can't
know what
sell
criminal
drugs,
offense
you can't do fireworks, like things like that. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, cause it's 6:30. The other one should be quicker because people wait.
I had a question. Oh, look, they have some of these though. Do we have this? Does it, they say the number of persons admitted for a function must not exceed room capacity limits, that's smart.
You know what,
Do we have that? I don't think we do. All school entities will function scale, oh, but that, Dr. Talbot, what do you think of B in that? It says whenever inclement weather or emergency situation causes the closing of district schools, all after-school functions scheduled for that day will be canceled. That seems reasonable, right? Because our staff is gonna go home.
Yes, and that's the normal situation now.
Yeah, so let's add.
Well, there was something where it's,
Oh,
it
and
can't be scheduled when the schools are closed and then maybe. What I saw that something.
well, I think A, B, and D should be added. Because it also talks about an incident, like you have to report the incident, for liability reasons too.
That kind of covers the weather. Isn't it?
Well, which one is?
Oh, that's what I-
Policy, right, it's small town.
But why not put it in there?
This one is must be signed
That's
and
not
authorized.
so people can tell you didn't say this.
Some people. Or organizing, pressing,
Yeah.
and signature. Test to.
Can we add A, B, and D? Does anybody have any feelings about that? Dr. Talbot, I feel like that's probably good for you.
Yeah.
So-
A's already there, isn't it? All applications.
No, no, it's a
No,
gray area.
different day.
Oh.
They just confuse it and put
So maybe,
Budget for the
maybe Lynn has to like add this towards the bottom, if she could just add it as extra letters.
Yeah, so some of this is on the application,
Yes.
Olivia.
Mhm.
But we'll take another look to see what's on and what's not. Because like the capacity is on.
I like the one that if school's closing or there's an emergency, and I like the one about reporting an incident, because I think that again, it's like trying to mitigate a law.
And there's one thing that we listened to, a nicer session on building news, and they keep on changing their forms
Yeah,
based on
not shocking.
all the things that has been happening now. So I don't know whether we have to put somewhere that, we should always comply with the forms that. in the
Yes, I
regulations.
actually think that that's probably a good idea, and maybe, D. All applicants must agree to assume responsibility for all damages resulting as proof of adequate insurance must be provided by the applicant at least 10 days before the date of the requested use. And be in compliant with the district's insurance, nicer insurance. Did you get that?
I know, no, because, yeah, I'm
not sure
I'm trying to figure out just.
Right.
Which street?
We have,
Right.
All applicants.
all, yeah,
Under application procedure for
Okay.
facilities.
all applicants must agree to assume responsibility for all damages resulting from the use of district facilities. Right, so what are you saying?
Proof of, and indeed, it goes on to say, proof of
Insurance.
adequate insurance must be provided by the applicant at least 10 days before the date of the requested use. And should be in compliance with nicer requirements, or however you wanna say, it, nicer is our insurance, or the district's insurance requirement.
Don't you have the insurance provided when they submit the application?
Yeah,
But what Olivia is saying is, and it is true, there's always like regulations changing and everything, she's saying to protect us, that it just has to be in compliance with our insurance.
But it, can I,
The district insurance.
The district
requirement.
insurance, yeah.
to just put it in front of you, but I have to process it, because just like, for example, if, like, I'll just use the soccer league. So if the soccer league insurance is not in compliance with the district's insurance, then that means the soccer league can't utilize our facilities.
100%. The insurance company is protecting the district. That's what insurance is for. So if the insurance, this happens all the time in businesses and organizations and everything, is that they are there to protect the insured. Our district is the insured, right? Our kids are part of this, so it's to protect us.
So my question that I'm asking is this, is that with the insurance through the school. Are they saying that it has to be this? That an organization has to have what this company is requiring, or they recommend, that's my question.
There is,
they're recommended.
there's a disparity between what our policy says we should have at various levels, and that's what I'm trying to wrap my head against, because they said, $1 million policy, okay, then it says aggregate 2 million. Are we applying it consistently? Because if you look
It's
at
usually a $2 million.
then we have to apply it consistently.
So we have to
right?
apply it consistently, and just like so everybody knows, like with insurance, what happens is with insurance companies. They are looking out for their insured
Right.
to mitigate any losses. They are there to protect because they don't want to be paying out all these claims, right? So they're saying, we're protecting you, this is what you need, this protects the children, this protects the district, and that's what you need. So just saying to be in compliance with our insurance company, that's because that's what you need to do. It happens every day, a million times a day.
And I hear what you're saying, I'm not disputing what you're saying. I would say put it in there, but I think we really need to take a look at it.
Well, just run it by Garcia.
Look, you can put it in, because my biggest concern is what will be the impact of our organizations that utilize our facilities currently? And will that mean they have to get an increase in insurance, and what will be the impact of, from the
Well-
soccer league, CYO?
Well,
Which are primarily the biggest two users of our facilities is CYO and in soccer league.
Girl Scouts,
Girl Scout, yeah.
Little
Yeah.
leagues.
So
What will
I,
be the impact? So I would say put it in, but let's really take a look at that. Because
And then-
that potentially could impact these organizations and their abilities to utilize our facilities.
yeah, but we also have to protect the children in the districts.
And I understand that, but then in protecting the children of our district, then will also potentially maybe affect the ability to participate in certain things that have been very beneficial to children. So put it in that way, and that way we can.
well, I looked at the ones, I think it was like, Little
So put it
League
in.
and Girl Scouts, I think are up on for Wednesday, and they have those things. The only thing that I didn't see in my other.
So hold on,
What would you like?
before we go, what we saying as per our district's insurance
District
policy?
insurance.
Insurance policy. The
As per the district's insurance
Insurance
policy.
policy, insurance policy.
D and
And it has to be
compliance
applied consistently.
The district's insurance,
with the district.
insurance requirements.
Hold on, because we have policy, so, are you saying policy? Insurance policy?
Insurance requirement.
I would say the
Insurance
insurance carriers requirements,
Just put insurance
the
requirement,
district's insurance.
yeah,
I would
and
say
here,
the
and then
carriers
highlight it, and then that way, when it goes to legal.
Wait a second, I just wanna say something, it should be the insurance carrier, it's not, because it's the carrier's requirements.
Hold on a second, I'm trying to make sure that she has some information
I
first,
understand.
and then she'll highlight it, and then we can read it back, so if there's anything that needs to be modified, it can be modified,
Okay.
right, so let's, before we, okay. So, go ahead, Lynn, read what it says, start with proof of,
Proof of adequate insurance must be provided by the applicant at least 10 days before the date of the requested use as per the district's insurance carrier's requirements.
And has to be applied consistently.
Well, then the district has to insurance apply consistently, right?
okay, so next on this.
Oh, my only last thing is, all of us thought that there was a requirement for the roster, but it's not in here, so I think that we should put it in.
It's on the other form, isn't it? The use of facilities form?
But why not put it in the policy?
No, I'm not disagreeing, I'm just saying that.
Okay,
I'm just saying that cause it's always been like, it has to be 75%.
75% district residents.
yeah, so let's just put the roster, any
And they
Any
also,
organization's roster should be comprised of minimum 75% of Amityville residents.
yeah, but the,
Amityville school district residents, because the East Mass people too.
yeah,
So we
but
have to
the
be careful.
problem is that it's very difficult to verify that.
Bingo.
So they have to sign an affidavit
Right.
certifying that indeed.
Well, can
Because I don't know the addresses, so when I'm looking at it, I don't
And
know what I'm
what has
looking.
happened in the past is that the roster will come in, we look at the rosters, and for those of us who've been around, we know that this person is 80 years old. You know what I mean? This person can't be playing, soccer, can't be playing. So we've identified a number of names, people who no longer live in the district,
Yeah, but
are
then,
still listed.
can I say something to that? Because we did that too, where you get the roster and then whatever, one of the office workers is verifying it. But to Lisa's point, if somebody is, 150 years old on a roster, that's when you go through it, they don't meet the requirements. I mean, that's why you have the roster, so they should be providing their roster, and they should be Amityville school district residents, not Amityville residents.
Yeah,
Amityville
yeah,
school
it's
district.
example school.
So can we put that in there as I?
And what
So, 75% of the roster, I think with the same language that's on the form, we'll put
Can
on
we
the.
put it in the regs?
I was gonna say, I think, wouldn't that go in the
Let's put in
regulation?
We don't
regulation,
have a regular.
we'll create a
Let's create
regulation,
one.
let's create a regulation. Let's put that in regulation, so create it with the regulation, so therefore, we can take it out. So from the policy, I mean, from the.
Or
from the
just
fee-
put in the policy, must fulfill roster requirements in regulation.
But I guess I'm saying, why does it hurt to add that sentence?
Because if we put in the regulation, it will cover that, because we're gonna cover the fees and potentially some other things, so let's just put it in there, must fulfill ROS requirements and regulations. Cool. Because I wouldn't mind putting in there, even in regulation, for example, if they're found to falsifying the roster 2 times, you may lose your rights to use the facility.
Well, 100%.
I mean, so I'd rather put that in regulation.
Yeah, totally.
So please, or an affidavit that, if you sign it and you find that. Because in that, and I'll say I've tried.
So I guess, how, we don't have
Sort
a
of put it
regulation or
here.
anything, so
Yeah, we're gonna put it in
are we
regulation.
just shelving this for right now? What are we doing with this?
No, you
So we have to
can
create
approve
one.
the policy
Great one.
and then create a regulation.
Well, so I guess my concern is if we go ahead and approve this, and Mercer approves this, and it's for the next time, and then we have to wait for the regulation, however long that takes. What I'm saying is, why not just put the roster thing in here so it covers us until however long it takes us to do the regulation?
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
When we're approving this policy, it's not gonna change for this year. Is it gonna change this year, or mid-year, are we gonna change anything in regards to this policy?
Well, why wouldn't it? Sure.
If there's something that affects someone, like, for example, if we change the insurance requirements, if someone, has to change. What the question is, I know, sometimes we change policies right away and we have to change it. So my question is, are we implement this right away?
Yeah.
So I think that's what we need to decide, number one, and I don't think we need to put in the percentage. Let's make the regulation, next time we have a meeting, we can put it together. If you wanna hold off and give it to the board, we can give it to the board as a first read, we can do first, second, and go from there, so. Let's just do the regulation, they can put the regulation together, they can bring it back.
Well, it has to go to Thursday first, before it goes to the.
Right, but I'm saying that with the regulations, let them work with the regulation, they give it back to us, we can look at it and we can go from there.
Who's gonna work on the regulation?
Usually the cabinet has worked.
Yeah, we do the regulation.
Let's move on to,
Oh, Lisa, so I was just saying with the wellness one that Megan. had
well, let's,
corrected.
let's stay with the elderly and co-curriculum. Yeah, let's, because if not, we're gonna be,
Okay, I pass this, I
no,
don't
now you give it back to.
Yeah. I think you have a copy, I have 3 copies, I have one, I can only just. There's another one, what do you guys?
Did you guys get a
that?
copy of this
That
one?
is- that belongs to you? And purple, it's floating center.
Wellness,
No, this is elderly for athletic participation.
previous one.
When you
It's in
make,
purple, I didn't.
when you
I
make some
didn't change it to
suggestions.
purple.
Okay.
Oh, here it is, here's an extra one, if you want to get it, you and Lynn maybe, and you guys share it or something. I just thought this one was easier, because there's so many things that I have.
So can I ask a question, why are we taking out co-curricular and extracurricular activities, why aren't we?
We talked about this last time, because, yeah, when we do these rules, we were
So-
talking about that athletics is usually 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week, a couple of hours a day, and the rigor is so much longer for a longer duration than a club 1 hour a week.
So this is the regulation that we're looking at.
No, there's 2 of them, it's attached, I have a regulation and
I only have the regulation, I thought we already did the,
no, we didn't, we said we were gonna come back to it, there's the policy and the regulation.
I don't have the reg. in front of me.
It's a policy too.
I think I made the copy for the policy.
I don't have the reg in front of me. I may have it in full.
So I'm like kind of locked out in the next one. Do you want this, Lisa? Or is it just?
5205.
It's just-
Yeah.
It's there going back, probably. I may have the other one in my phone.
Oh, I just have the regulation too. Okay, that is back the regulation.
Oh, I have it in this one. Hold on.
I have 2 extras of the policy, but like I wrote on it, so I don't know if you want to look at that. or-
No, I have.
Okay.
Yeah. So just. I don't have a plan to work on this one. Hold on, let me see.
Not the topic, this might really go with the policy, but it's on subject. Would it be possible to have like occasional, like seasonal orientation for the parents, to, like, to learn about this stuff from Marcus and give them parents like opportunities to learn about whatever the sport the kid's doing for the first time.
Shouldn't there be a coach meeting? There should be parent meetings for
Yeah.
every sport before the season.
And
Does that not happen?
they do,
Doesn't
they
happen?
do schedule those.
Every sport should be having a, that's not good.
Hmm,
You're supposed to.
No.
No.
Which sport? Which sports are
Which
you
one?
with? You're affiliated with track and what's the other?
Soccer or baseball,
Soccer, track and baseball?
Well, baseball has,
and soon be football,
Oh, Lord. Bless you.
only as a kicker though,
wait,
that's what he wants to do.
All right, we'll follow up on that.
I have-
Again,
I have the next question is, to his point. Are the coaches not aware that they have to have a parent
They
meeting?
should be, yeah, they should be.
Maybe a mass email can go out as a
Yeah.
reminder.
We'll follow up with the AD because we've talked about it before.
Right, so maybe,
I'm sorry, I said it.
No, well,
maybe it's me. But I'm looking at my old ones and I don't see. In the old ones in terms of changing for the. For the name, maybe it's, I don't
No,
know.
no, we talked about it, and then we said it's too much, because I started like, crossing things out, and then it got confusing, so you said do it online, and then nobody did it online, so then I did it online and I printed it.
Yeah, I just wanna talk about what is your thought process by just saying for the athletics? And not, co-curricular and extracurricular activities, why this athletics?
Because as I had stated before, athletics is more rigor, and there's more hours that consist of it, it's multiple hours a day for 5 to 6 days a week. And the season is longer, and a child that goes to a club 1 day a week, I don't think should be held to the same standards of all this, it's not the same rigor, I mean. It's 1 day a week. I mean, these were originally implemented in school districts because we had the collegiate athletes to be in line with, college sports. So,
I know that this policy here, and I'm not disagreeing with making changes if need be. But this policy was revamped, quite extensively. Last time was updated in 2015. And I think some of the thought process at that time was looking at. And I do hear what you're saying in terms of, sometimes clubs only meet 1 day a week. But sometimes there's other things where it may be, if it's the band, sometimes the band has more practices even outside of the school, and sometimes they may have like a drama. And they may have more practices for a period of, or whatever, 2 to 3 months, that time of preparing for production.
Yes, it was.
Well, I mean, so there's some clubs that, to your point, they only meet. Once a week, and that type of thing. So. That's just my only concern. So, and to me, in some respects, when we think about clubs like that, that's what I'm also thinking about as well. So that was just my.
Wendy, are you saying this would restrict kids from those clubs?
no, actually, what I'm saying is opposite. I'm saying, like, this is more a stringent policy for the athletes, because, they have the same rules in college, right? So a lot of kids go to college and play. They don't have these rules for clubs or anything. So I'm saying just to be more in line with this, than the policy was 10 years ago. And, I think what we're trying to do is a guideline and good practices and healthy practices for the child to be successful, because I think we all could agree here, academics come before anything. So it's just to, work towards that. You know, I had gone through this, I didn't love some of the language, I thought it was pretty punitive, and I think, hopefully we're moving away from that mindset of, we're not operating from that mindset, you know, to just, you know, that, like all the kids are bad, it's just, these are the guidelines, this is what you have to do to make it. Like, some of it was like, you're automatically ineligible, I know that my recommendation is, no, you're not automatically eligible, you're on a 5 week probation.
But they're not automatically,
It did say that on one of them, it said that they were automatically ineligible if they had. Because what happened is, and I said this at the last meeting, I think it was at the last meeting. I had looked at many districts, like I did like a lot of research into this, so I didn't just pull it out of thin air, I went to all, and I tried to do, you know, put it together in one document, I think I given it to you guys as a recommendation, just pulling all the different policies from different districts. And some of them had good suggestions, some didn't, like, for instance, under counselors, I added, you know, provided an academic intervention plan with the student in a meeting, and the plan should be shared with the coach, you know, and the parent.
so can I just make one recommendation?
Yeah.
Can we just stay with, let's just stay with the policy first. Let's go.
So that is part of the policy.
No,
Okay.
that's the
From
regulation.
the top to the bottom, well, you're asking me to explain it, I'm telling you, I'm explaining
No,
it,
no,
so I
but
have
I'm
like a
just-
lot of recommendations.
No, what I'm saying to you, if we stay with just the policy first.
Yeah,
Let's go through the policy,
Sure.
and go through changes, because our time is, our clock is ticking. And then, once we do that, then we'll go to the regulation portion to add that in. And I was just asking your.
no, it's
questions,
okay, it's no
so-
problem.
So, we can put up to the board, but I struggle with not addressing other extracurricular activities. You know, I really do. I do. Cause that means I feel like you're just penalizing the athletes. And so what about someone, like if someone just does football, right? Or someone just does a drama club one time a year. If they have not been going to school, if they haven't been failing, and they still allowed to be part of the drama club, I'm just using that as an example, that's just my question, how do we address other extracurricular activities?
I guess it's like this gray area, because I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So if you're saying something is multiple times a week, what I'm saying is, I don't want a kid that just does something one day a week to be like penalized, because we have kids, that we already have attendance issues, and these are the things that motivate children to come to school.
But,
That's how.
and
that's your-
I'm saying this as the unfortunate side of experience, is that I was a student that was on academic probation during baseball. And probably the main reason that I got better was so I could go back to playing baseball. And that, I know that feeling applies to many other things, not just sports.
So,
And there are many kids in this district that don't have anything else going on, and yes, they might benefit, they would benefit from going to these things. But this would also, if they wanna go to those things, they also have to do well in school.
Well,
Yeah.
academics is first.
So I hear all of the views, and I think they are definitely well taken. I think equity, right, is a concern, discriminatory practices against one group is a concern. So how do we balance that out operationally? You have co-curricular, and then you have athletics, right? So how do we weigh stricter policy for one group and not
Yeah, I
another
hear what you're
group?
saying. Okay, so we could add it back in.
Well, no, I'm just thinking out loud,
Mhm.
you know, even if we were to say, let's share with legal that we wanna hold both groups accountable through policy. So that they can operate within a certain parameter, but we wanna make sure there's equity. And that there's no discriminatory policy toward one group and not another, because they're all students. How can they help us to achieve that goal?
would it be a co-curricular club that meets?
Well,
Like-
co-curricular and extracurricular.
Co-curricular of clubs, am I right? Co-curricular
Well,
clubs.
we got extra,
So that's the question. We're
What
co-
is the difference?
What's the
Somebody
difference
tell us
between
what the difference
co-curricular and
is.
extracurricular?
I think it's the same thing, it's just repetitive.
yeah, extra, co,
I I think it should just be extracurricular.
Yeah, that's.
Activities.
that was-
I don't know,
I mean, maybe
is
we
there-
start with that title.
Is that a distinct difference that they use in the high school?
So can we start with the title to just be extracurricular?
Because even to your point, Wendy, if, and I do agree, if it's a club that meets only once a week. Even once a month, hypothetically,
There's a reason why this.
then I don't think this policy should contain, but if it's. Just using the drama club as an example, if it's something like that, you know what I mean?
Agreed,
Then-
I think we are agreeing on
Like,
it,
like how,
yes.
how do we say that language?
I think I have the understanding of it.
Yeah, I think Mary does too,
What is
yes.
it?
Co-curriculars, activities or or programs or experiences that directly relate to and complement the academic curriculum, which
In the
maybe like
school.
band.
Like the demo
Science club.
or the
Yeah,
deck
science
club,
club.
things like that.
Extracurricular activities are pursuits outside of the regular curriculum, which would be like sports. And,
What would that be?
well, no,
That'd be like dance after school
dance,
or
okay.
step team or
So,
drama.
you know what?
Hold on a second, so do we wanna include co-curricula? I mean, these are things that apply to, right, their academics, why are we gonna penalize somebody that's doing something with their academics, right, a science club, a deca club, I know. we
Yeah,
have,
so I guess
like,
it's
the United
science.
Nations club, like all these things, like. model.
Because I think we got solved right here. If you go down to that first paragraph, it says, for the purpose of this policy, extracurricular and co-curricular activities are defined as. Participation in non-credit bearing club, organization, athletic team, or performance group. So maybe we can. When we decide what's gonna be included, it could be as defined as participation in.
But you know what, like, just to talk this through, you know, we just agreed on something. Should we be penalizing kids that are doing co-curricular that were applied, you know, I'm just thinking of that, if it's a math club, if it's a science club, this is really their. Academics, like, I don't wanna penalize anybody for academic anything, extracurricular, I could see, you know, having that parameter, but why would we do that on anything academic?
But if it's co-curricular, if we're meeting once a week, then should they be included in?
Right, but this goes to your point, Lisa, right, like, why should we do it if it's a once a week thing, I mean.
Then co-curricular would theoretically help their grades.
Exactly, like, I just wanna take away, can we just not do co-curricular, just do extracurricular?
I think we should, get some advice on this. Cause I think that little area there could help define.
Well, can we decide amongst the policy committee right now, because we're making the recommendation?
Yeah, but I'm not ready to remove co-curricular or extracurricular. I'm still struggling with,
Can I vote with, if it's legally advisable, we'll take it out?
Yes, I agree with that,
if it's legally advisable to take out co-curricular.
co-curricular,
Yeah.
just leave it as extracurricular activities. I 100% agree.
But I think also it goes back to something that you said, it goes back to something that you had said in terms of the equity. How do we make sure, so I think about the clubs that exist at the high school and the middle school, right? How do we make sure that with these clubs that exist at the high school and middle school?
This is
Okay, so-
academics,
Okay, but I'm just thinking of this as an example. We have a debate club. I'm absent from school. But there's a debate club competition. So I show up and I'm allowed to participate because it's a part of my co-curriculum. But I'm absent from school and I'm a football player, but I can't come to the practice after school because it's,
So could we have it that absences would apply to all?
but it does
Activity.
say that in here in the regulation. I'm just
Right.
kind of going back and forth.
Well,
So-
before we get to regulation, are we done with the policy?
Well, I can't.
no, we're not
find
done with the policy yet.
Yeah, it says. It says that this is the policy.
Maybe we
No,
could
this is-
solve this by just having like, just making it
Is this it?
That's
a
just.
small paragraph for co-curricular, you have to be there on the day.
We
but
don't
you
know
can't-
all the regulations.
Could this sentence, let's even further that I wanna leave co-curricular out. Co-curricular activities are designed to reinforce what's being taught in class, while extracurricular activities are more focused on personal interest and broader development.
What do you?
I wanna get rid of co-curricular.
Co-curricular helps your schoolwork,
Okay,
Identically, like,
whereas extracurricular may in some ways help your schoolwork, but it's not directly impact your schoolwork. You're not
I see it.
learning different subjects for football practice that you would be learning for debate club.
I have an idea, I just thought of this. Everywhere throughout this policy, it says extracurricular and co-curricular, right? So what if, when you start going back to the eligible, not eligible, this and that, you just take out co-curricular in those areas, and then you keep co-curricular in when it talks about absences and participation. Maybe that's a way around
When
this.
you get to regulation, talk about it.
Well, I have to go through this quickly, but do you see what I'm saying? It always says extracurricular and co-curricular. Maybe in these areas, just cross out the co-curricular, except for in the attendance area.
Okay, are you on this one or the other?
I'm on the, right now I'm on 5205. Is that what you're on? I'm not on the
Yes.
regulation.
So this is referencing the behavioral standards to be a part of co-curricular extra as a privilege and linked to policy 5300, which is the code of conduct. Right? So I know we've just started kind of peeling the code of conduct back. We've been meeting with the shared decision-making teams. We're starting at the middle and high school to look at the code of conduct. And I don't know off the top of my head how much co-curricular is embedded in that policy.
Well, I worry about that too, and I know I've been pretty vocal about this, like being punitive towards children and having this continuous, like, mark against them. At some point, right, like children, if they do something, they pay the price, they do the consequence, and then it should be a clean slate. If we're saying it's a continuum, we're not really operating in that fashion.
No, I'm not opposing that. I'm simply saying
Right, does that have to be in there then, right?
they're referencing policies
Right.
and I really,
Maybe we should take that out, no?
I don't know, because I need to look at it deeply to see what the connections really are. But then, are we saying that you can be a part of a co-curricular club? You can be a part of the name of club.
Drama
day. Or
No,
something
co-curricular,
like-
say it's a science club,
Yeah, science club.
Robotics.
robotics,
Okay,
yeah.
science club during the day. And,
At the end of the day.
Where
okay.
would student council fit?
We see where equity is coming.
That's extra co-curricular.
That would be extracurricular.
That's really the extra,
That's not,
that's not
that's
co-curricular.
not academic.
It's not.
I don't know, are they in political
So
science?
see, the way it's defined
Yeah.
as participation in any non-credit bearing club, organization, athletic club, or performing group.
Honestly, I think this is exactly, we got hung up on this stuff.
We came full circle to end up.
Like, I think it has to definitely be tweaked, but like, that's a big part of this.
No, and I hear you loud and clear, and that's right in the vein of where we want to go with restorative practices.
Yes.
We don't want it to be punitive. I get it. I'm just concerned about the lack of accountability is what I'm really getting at. And,
Well-
and teachers, we don't want them to hold it as a carrot over the kids' heads. But accountability to be able to be a part of the functional operations of student life in the school, that there has to be a standard. You can't just come and turn the school out and then just come and be a part of the science class, the science club.
I have a hard time penalizing any children that want to do something that helps the academics support or, apply for it. I
But
think,
one can also say, I'm playing devil's advocate, one can also say by, like Chris gave example, by him attending baseball, that forced him to motivate him to do his academics. So I think that we have to look, I think this is just my biggest thing, just in general. As we look at these regulations and we look at what should be taking place, the biggest problem is like what is here does not take place all the time. So we can have the regulation, but we need to make sure at the building level that it is.
Well, you said that last time, that it's a lot of it was.
It's not taken.
Well, we also found out something else is.
Right, so I think that's the key, whatever we define it as, whether it's co-curricular, as whatever it may be. Whatever is here in place, whatever we change, how do we make sure? Which comes, that's our.
That's
purview.
what, right, so that we make policies and procedures and then the superintendent has to enforce them, she's the CEO, and however she does it, whether it trickles down.
Right,
She's other
exactly.
people, so that's how it works, but maybe, can we try to work through this?
Yeah, I want to finish up the first part, if, I think we had said with the policy. We're gonna take out if legally advisable, take out the co-curriculum, I think we had said that with the
If it's
policy.
advisable.
Advisable, so now we're up to the regulation, right?
Well, I just had a couple of things within the policy.
Okay,
If we wanna keep it as extracurricular, so I know in here I wrote athletics, so you could just like ignore that part. But, on the 1, 2, 3rd paragraph down, it says, advises coaches must disseminate a copy of the expected standards of conduct to all students and parents at the start of each year, and then I wanted to put in, or at the start of each sports season. And or at the start of each sports season, right, because you have like fall, winter, winter two, spring, so can we add that and or? At the start of each sports season?
And where are you reading?
Do you have the
Right.
purple one?
Yours,
Look at the
okay.
purple one.
well, I think, in my opinion, what's the similar copy of the expected standards of conduct to all students and parents at the start of each school year, and I do agree, and.
And or at the start of each sports season.
I don't think it should be or, I think it's.
Or at the start, okay, sure.
I think we
Is
should,
this the one that's supposed to be on our website?
yes,
'Cause it's not.
no. Yeah, that one should be on
It
the
won't
website.
should be.
It's not.
Is that the regulation?
That's the record, should be.
What's
on the
what's
website.
another?
There's a different one.
See, remember, there are two floating around, that's what I kept saying, is this it? It's two.
Are we still on the phone?
We're at 5 to 1 time.
Oh, we're
Let's see,
moving on to
one was
regulation.
adopted 9/14/16.
The one I'm looking at is,
Mine says 2015.
mine says that last time was 9/14/16.
Right. You see?
9/14/16 is what's on the website,
Yeah, that's the one I'm working on.
for the regulation, the policy is 8/12/15.
No, I have 16 on the policy too. Look.
9/14/16 on the policy.
You have the 16 policy, right? That's what I have.
On the website for the policy is 8/12/15.
Well, that's not correct.
I have the 15 one here.
That's not.
Okay.
All right.
So there's one dated 9/14/16 and one dated 8,
12/15.
they're both titled the same.
I think so. What is that? Yeah, they're both titled the same.
Well, the one that's the
This is
2016, it has
It's
both dates, but
interscholastic.
it's updated.
Okay.
All right. Should we keep going?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so can we add that one part in, or at the start of each sports season? Did you see where to add that one? You go 3 paragraphs down.
Thank you.
On the second line, where it says, and parents at the start of each school year, and add in, or at the start of each sports season.
And parents at the start of each school year.
Or at the start of each sports season.
My question, instead of saying or, I think we should say and.
Yeah, and,
Yeah,
Each
you know
sports
why?
season?
Yeah, because if it's or, that means you could
That's
do it or not do it,
that's fine.
because in that way,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you said?
yeah, and, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And then,
So it's silent.
okay, then I have a couple
So-
of sentences down.
So the quick question is this, okay, go ahead. Hold on.
Wait, let me go get something.
Yeah, here's the shoes.
We got a top.
Oh, here's the
Oh, really?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Down, pass it around.
No, it's tea, no, it's tea. with
Oh,
coconut. I'm
I'm
sorry.
Was it at least your drink that you wasted?
Okay.
Okay, so, further down, it says,
Hold on a second.
Wait a second, I lost my, I lost.
There you go.
okay, so then the
Let's
next,
see.
Good, yes.
The next sentence
Excuse
says,
me.
all student participants will be informed that they have the obligation to act in a responsible manner because of the leadership roles they play in the school environment. And then I was suggesting, and as representatives of the school district.
So, and
After environment, and as representatives of the school district.
as.
Then, at the end,
And put another
at the end of that paragraph, it talks about and or tobacco products. I was gonna say and or tobacco / vaping products.
Yeah, that should be added.
Did you see that one,
Yeah.
after tobacco /
Tobacco
vaping?
slash
Or
vaping.
they're age appropriate comments or something. I feel like there's gonna be something else eventually.
What, I'm sorry.
Slash
vaping.
slash tobacco.
Vaping, e-cigarettes, I mean, put it in.
Is e-cigarette included in the vaping?
I don't know, I don't, anybody, any vapors
I don't
here?
know.
Is
What is that?
is e-cigarettes included in the vaping?
E-cigarettes including vaping. And or tobacco /
Vaping.
vaping.
That
say
should
so.
cover it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next,
Okay, is it?
I think it's just us.
Mm.
The next paragraph, I wanted to add a sentence. That says, no student may participate in extracurricular activities, practices, scrimmages, or contests on a day that the student is absent from school unless the school administrator grants special permission to the student for that absence. What do you guys think?
Is that part of regulation at all?
I don't know, I was adding this to. Hold on a second, I'm looking at the right section. No, I don't think that's in there.
You know what? That right now they can't participate.
Mhm. It's gonna get inconsistent.
Right now, if they're absent from school, they can't participate.
Let's put it in policy.
No, but you said, you said unless an administrator grants special permission.
Yeah, to the student for the absence.
Well, maybe it should be like
Why,
unexcused absence. Because let's say if they had a doctor's appointment during the day, you have a doctor's note, that's excused.
Well, what about if there's like
Mm.
a grandparent dies and then they come back after they go to the wake or
Right,
something?
right.
So what are you saying, unless it's an excuse,
Yeah.
no student may,
because we always had
For an
said no,
accentuating.
we said no matter what, unless like an administrator had to okay it. Or just.
Like
It was
unexcused
always no, it
absence.
was just no.
No, even if they had an excuse.
It was just always no, because they always had an excuse. But there are accentuating circumstances. But then who, the administrator is left to determine via judgment or evidence what the accentuating circumstance is. How do you think the administrators will feel being put in that position?
But I mean, I'm
It-
just gonna use this as an example, like we had kids where. It sounds terrible, like a parent died or whatever, but the kid really wanted to go to like the baseball game or something, so we were like. I mean, what is the administrator gonna say no to that? I mean, that's what I think when an administrator is coming to it, not like, some lame excuse, I mean, like serious extenuating circumstances.
because right now they don't participate if they're out.
They definitely don't.
They don't, right now, so they're not allowed
So
to.
you guys are
participate.
concerned about that?
I'm always concerned about my judgment being the one that places value on one thing over another, right? So. We have students who have interviews and they miss school to go on a scholarship interview, a job interview, a college interview. So is it my place to say your interview is more important than a student who wants to do something else, right? Like. It's
But
a
it-
hard
but
place
doesn't it
to
go back
be
to-
without guidelines.
But does that go back then to excuse absences, like a college visit, it's an excuse absence, right?
But then you have to define the excused absence.
Do we not
No,
have
they
anything that
bring
defines
in an
that?
excuse,
Right.
no. But no. from the-
That's not an excused absence, though. Interviews and college
What
visits
would
are
be
not
good in the
excused.
list,
I
though?
don't know.
So wouldn't that, we could use that list, though? The list
Right,
of
but a
students.
job interview is not on that list.
And what happens is someone really has to go for a job interview because they need the money for. you know,
Family,
the
yeah.
family.
I mean, don't you think that our administrators are,
Mm.
you know, have the herewithal to be able to figure this out? I feel like this is not a hard thing. This isn't like a hard ask.
I think for me personally,
You think it is?
No, I think for me personally, it already exists, they cannot participate in an activity if they're absent. So just leave it alone. I mean, just.
Okay, but
Because,
I think we still need to add it in.
is it in the regulation already?
I didn't see it in there.
I don't know, I just personally think it'll open a can of worms that administrators are not really going to. You know, the parental pressure.
No, Dr.
It's
Talbot,
clear-
I'm
it's
saying if
clear
you don't
pressure.
wanna put that in that portion, but put the portion in no student may participate in whatever, all these different activities if the student is absent from school, period.
Okay,
At least put that in so
Yes.
it's clear and it's concise and there's no gray area.
right,
Period.
So,
Okay.
Lynn, after the 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph, where it says standing and his or her eligibility is clear, it's turned to participants, the next sentence would be no
Yeah.
students.
Yeah, I'll give it to her here.
Okay, but then put extracurricular, Lisa, instead of athletic.
No, it's gonna make this way, and
Extra.
extra good activities. So we're gonna put that. It's this one.
I think it says advisors, co-chairs or something.
This is one.
While they're doing that, going back to the tobacco products, e-cigarettes and vaping products are considered tobacco products because they have nicotine and nicotine is from tobacco, so.
Like maybe not having a model.
The reason it's doing it's good.
But it's tobacco, well, Google does a lot of good stuff.
So what's interesting, let me just, hold on. No, I'm looking for. Yeah, that's, yeah, so this we have that's on the current policy, that's on, the relationship between the student standing and his, her elderly slaves, or all students.
Yeah, it's after that.
Okay,
but it's
Yeah, it's not
here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pull that, we're gonna pull that from the old policy. I mean, this is the old one, what's online is updated, right, so.
No, Chris said the one that's online is the old one, 2015, right? Or you have the 2016? Oh, you have 2016?
The 2016 does not have, does not have the language of relationship between students and standing in
I have that online.
and his eligibility, it's not on the, 2015 is online here.
And my 2016 says the relationship between the student standing and his or her eligibility is clearly explained to all student participation.
All right, so just get this in. Those who participate in athletic activity, and those who use in extracurricular activities. So it's in the
Share J. Oh, here, it stands, oh. That is weird, oh, because it's the old one up there, they added that other sentence. Lisa, the 2015 is up there. So you're just gonna put a period
Right, so here you go.
Without-
Just type this in, thank you.
after from school, yeah.
Mhm.
After from school should be wiped out and unless the school.
Just type it in there. If we can bring this to a close without.
Okay, I just have one more thing to add on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm not.
No, no problem. And then I guess we have to figure out too, because it says extracurricular, co-curricular, so whatever they come back with. The only other thing I wanted to add to this was, this policy does not apply to any agency or third-party organization events.
Oh, okay.
when you say third party.
I don't know, do we have third-party events? I don't even know if we do. I was just saying that they cover everything.
Just to make it sound.
Yeah.
So should we just do the
Well,
APTC?
would third party events be like a use of facilities thing? Cause they're in our building.
Oh, maybe.
Extracurricular activities.
Yeah,
Anything that's being hosted, I guess,
Yeah.
by an affiliate. Right,
Curriculum.
like APTC is sort of an.
Don't worry about
Yeah,
turning it
but third
on,
party.
Olivia.
Cool.
Right.
She's still working on it.
Oh,
So let's say that.
It's an extra.
Extracurricular.
You're
So-
called.
Are we not doing the regulations today?
You're gonna get through it in 10 minutes?
Now, but look what I did, like, yeah,
All the day that a student.
I put it out, took it from the policies, it's clear. You know what I mean? I think when things are fine. And it's not this clear wiggle room, it's one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
Did you get that from?
These, oh, I just pulled it from like, I don't know, well, we do it 15.
all right, so for the regs,
The regs, what do you want to do with that?
for the regs, I would say that. Maybe share any recommendations that you have, if we didn't do it online, please put it online, and that way, it can be shared with the cabinet, and they can make revisions and make adjustments with it, because when it comes to the reg. It's, and we have to review it as a policy committee, and then the board reviews it. Or we have, so let's make sure that if you have any suggestions, I know Wendy put hers in on there, I did not put mine in there, in order to move this forward.
I only did it because this one's like really confusing, this one has a lot. That's all.
Does everybody know their color?
I'm purple.
You're purple. I'm blue. Okay, just so that. Mary's red.
This, I wanted to just ask before we close tonight,
Mhm.
this anti-bullying and harassment, do we just want to adopt the policy and the regulation from NISBA?
I think we just need to make sure that we,
Like, I mean, can we run it by legal, and if they say it's okay, just adopt it, I mean, if this is what they're recommending?
To run the one from NISBA
Yeah,
by legal.
yeah,
you mean the student harassment, bullying prevention and intervention?
yeah, the one that we got, can we run it by them and see if they have any issues with it?
Any regulation connected to it.
And, that's,
Is there a
115. I think it's a regulation of conduct.
And it is an exhibit too.
And then the only thing that I just want to add is this student wellness, and I'm begging to look at it, I don't know that we would do this, but we did all different dates in here from 2016 to 17. But one of the reasons where it's a concern is that teachers are using snacks and food as motivation in the classroom, so that's the concern, and that didn't hear that they should have. So I don't know if you guys can look into that. Just to reinforce.
So there's nothing we want to change, we need to change. on.
Well, I was gonna say, just to re-adopt it, but we can't, Lisa, because it talks about 2016, 2017, I think we just have to change dates, honestly. I think the policy itself is probably okay. But maybe next time, can we look into this?
Do we have one from NISBA as well?
Yeah, this one has 2016 update, so if this is the most updated one.
Which one are you talking about?
Do we just wanna go ahead and run that by legal as well? And then,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
we'll touch base with the schools around the, snacks.
Cause that might just like kill two birds with one stone.
So, we're gonna run by the Lisbon, sample policy for student wellness, which is 5405. And we're gonna run by legal.
Yeah, because this way, like, recommended. And then, I know electronic devices is like a hot topic that we talked about. I was looking at what the governor's like supposedly gonna recommend. So one of the things she's gonna recommend is the cubbies. So Dr. Salva, I think budget season, like, we have to make sure that we have, oh, okay, right, that we have the cubbies in there. And then I guess get the policy. I mean, of course, it'd be easier if maybe we could get ahead of it.
We did, we looked at them, we budgeted for them.
Is it for the cubbies? Is that what
And for the
or how did-
We just went
Yeah.
by what we did yonder, the last time we did it, we just did,
We budgeted what the cost would have been for that.
What, the
Yes.
bags, you mean?
There're gonna be a slew of companies coming up now, you know?
But we have to wait and get the best company now.
But at least you put money aside.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll go. Right, so I think.
We have to pick another day, or what do we want to do later over here?
These two go to the.
Do we have to? I don't think we have any.
And then the 1,500.
I have March 18th.
You do?
Yeah,
Hold on a second. I don't know if I have that. So does everybody have that, March 18th? I don't have that
I
either.
don't know where I got the date from, but it's a.
Lisa, March 18th, is that okay for the next policy meeting?
Oh, we have pre-K lottery that night.
I'll forget that.
6 o'clock.
You wanna do the 25th?
Next one.
I think we have a meeting on the 27th.
Get that in right quick. We have a meeting on the 26th, and I can't come from on the 26th.
And the 18th is also the village elections.
The 26th,
No, the
March.
18th.
Do you
Oh,
wanna,
yeah,
All right, can I just,
skip March?
hold on a second, can I just make a quick,
Yeah,
can I make a quick suggestion, just quick thing?
sure.
Because I wanna make sure Linda's gonna be, maybe the follow through, so she has the two policies from this one that she's gonna send over, the 1,500 policy that dealt with public use of facilities. The changes that we made, is that able, can you send that over to your scale for review?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanna make sure she knows what's supposed to do.
And then Dr. Talbot and his team will work on regulation.
Okay. The 1505.
And I have a suggestion for the regulation for public use.
No, sir, the 1505. The changes for the 1505 can go over to courtesy.
Total value.
1505, yeah, 1505.
If.
Just
you
the regular
add,
policy.
like, staffing requirements
For
for the regulation for the public use of facilities,
Staffing requirement.
like if you.
Yeah.
If you're,
Custodian.
if you're
one
using this
custodian, one
building
security
at
guard.
night, you gotta have
So that way that.
a custodian and a security guard.
that
And
way-
if you're using the high school on the weekend, you're gonna have a custodian and a security guard.
To break it down, like a breakdown.
No, I think it all
Right,
depends
so-
on the
EV.
staffing required,
The 1505.
depends on the number of people that are coming.
Oh, yeah, 15.
Because if you only have 5 people
1500.
and there's a custodian in the building already, there's no need for security, because there's only 5 people. But if 50 people are coming, then you can bring security as
It
well as.
depends.
It all depends.
Like, for example, with the Girl Scouts, who just use the mobile, but he stops, lets them in, make sure they're settled, hang around a little bit, stays in the area, but we don't call in a second security.
But I think it also needs to be defined that where, like, where the organization should be entering the building. Cause I went to soccer on Saturday, we had to go around to find somebody to let us in. And then we decided what door we wanted open. I don't know if there was security there at all,
Was it custodian?
there was a custodian that let us in. I didn't see security, so. That should be factored in, like.
No, I probably had. this Mobile, I don't know, you came on Saturday?
Saturday.
Olivia.
So, yes, well, the next.
You're looking. Also, when we go over the regulation, the facilities use, can you also provide the facility use form, Dr. Revere?
Oh, we do provide the security.
No.
Security. The use form.
Oh, no, I'm saying for us to just review when we
Oh,
go
the
over the
forms.
regulation, yeah, the form.
This is close. This is good.
All right, so, and then,
And we have to.
so March, we're not gonna do anything in March right now, correct?
Wait, hold on, Dr. Talbot, Chris was just showing me like the fee schedule from Copay, like maybe that's something we can.
Yeah, I've still
We gotta
got.
post that.
Oh, you just have, oh,
Some of them are priced pretty high, I don't know if that's realistic.
I don't think we want to price too loud.
Why not, you will be online.
Okay, so what are you saying, the date, Lisa, what do you want to do for a date?
You wanna put a.
So the only thing is that the next time around, we have to look at the, the school volunteer policy with the information that came back from.
We did, Dr. Wake's been
Oh,
working
I
on
went
those
to do it,
changes.
yeah, what happened,
Yeah.
what was the recommendation?
Finalize the-
So he goes to send it to us on the 20th.
What was the recommendation, I'm sorry. can you-
It's about removing, we recommend deleting certain language, we recommended deleting ID integration. We recommend deleting employee oath, it's always.
Oh, just like nominal.
Yeah.
And then there's like on the last
In
page,
the last page,
page
is
4, there's a lot of different recommendations they made in the
Can I just
policy.
see that? Can I
It's
see
in the
that?
regs,
Please, let me know.
so
I'll give it right back.
we just have to talk about it, so yes, no.
Oh, okay, we should.
So
That's it.
I, yeah, Madeline, highlight.
yeah, she highlighted
In
it.
the regulation, exactly what we spoke about here,
Oh, right.
so we can go.
Yeah,
So Lynn, you could share that with us?
I think everyone has it in their.
Oh, it's here
Yeah,
tonight?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I gave everybody. Oh, okay.
So is it something that we could? As a policy committee, are you okay
Get
if
that
we
to-
look at it and get back, and there's a lot of discussion on it, and we bring it back at the next meeting, if we're okay with it, can we move forward?
Should we just,
Volunteer.
do you wanna just do it in 2 minutes, we'll go through it back and just be, you know, okay?
Yeah, I'm okay with it,
Then I have to find it, I'm sorry.
because it's in that
I
file.
mean, you can look.
Well,
Right, we made that into bird sale memo, we'll look at that.
And we made all the changes on the first page on this.
on this here,
Oh, here it is, I have it.
yeah, this one here, look at this one here. This has all the changes on it.
And we made the last page, it's just highlights the areas we're talking about.
That's the,
So this is the one you should be looking at.
Page 2 of 2.
okay, now what's the highlighted, that means you changed it, you added it?
It means he made reference to it.
Yeah, right, and then on the second page, which is in red, so just explain to Bridget on the second page in red. So it has, first is wishing to volunteer, but then they just, the yellow stuff is what was added, and let's just make sure.
Yellow is what he made reference to, so he said. All volunteers must undergo, he said that should be taken out. So. These things.
So did you guys do this, like Bridget,
No.
like volunteer policy, regulation, he's saying under screening, like add this, did you do all that?
One thing.
Yeah.
I did everything on the
His
first
memo.
page.
I mean, if this is what legal's recommending, then I would say, yeah, I'm okay with it, but like, as long as everything's exactly what they're saying. I guess, can we send a final to us, just to look, for us, like, a double, another set of eyes on it? Like, I'll leave this on the top.
Yeah, so it's just making, like, it is not clear from the policy as to whether the volunteer must submit fingerprint clearance to being accepted or will refer the individual. So we just have to clarify the language.
Yeah, I would say
all
He
language.
is responsible for going to get his.
So they're gonna clarify the language?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
And
we-
send it to us.
Yeah,
Okay.
They're probably your final thing, and if that, if it's okay, we can just say, go, so we can move forward.
Second final copy to Jamie.
No, this is not going to go to the, no, 4532 is not going to the, that's not gonna go to them.
So who's doing this, who's updating this, 4532?
These
Yeah.
You guys will do it?
yeah,
We can-
yeah,
Do it?
yeah.
I'll just look this way, I know to like keep it on the top.
And that's number, it's policy number.
4532
It's the policy and
and the regulations.
Can we, right now, we won't have a date for,
March.
March. And I hate to do that, but,
You want to skip to April?
yeah, but I don't wanna go too far away. I don't have my other, I don't have my calendar in front of me, so I can't. How about if maybe we'll throw some dates out?
April 8th, I mean,
April, library.
what is the library called?
Yes, you'll be in there.
Sure, you're not gonna give her another afterward.
What are the dates of this, what are the dates of the meeting?
Work session.
Yeah, can we send out some dates, maybe?
Yeah, that's fine,
Yeah.
then maybe Lynn can like say, give a couple of days and then we can
Yeah.
just.
'Cause I don't have my other calendar here,
All right.
so I'm not too sure. Alright, so let's close out the meeting, we'll be closing the meeting at 7:32.
Okay.